Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. So, Ryan, or should I say Wilhelm, the illusionist.
Illusions.
Oh god, that's not the right thing. There you go. You are starting in Weinstein.
Yes, I'm Wilhelm from Weinstein.
At the end of the Muckwater River, which heads into Wastewater Bay.
Sounds like a real shithole.
It's kind of a shithole.
There's no roads leading out of this town.
The only way to get out of this town is by boat. Or you can hike through the woods along the shore of Wastewater Bay. There's like a small trail that makes its way towards Halgroth, but it takes a couple of days to get there, and it's not often used. Pretty much everyone just goes out of town by push boat. You said you're from a fairly wealthy family, which is how you got your schooling, so let's talk about that for a moment. In Weinstein, what is it that your family does?
So did you? Why are they called Why is it called Weinstein? Did you say they grew grapes? Like they can be vintners or something like that.
I mean,
Wine state.
Yeah. There could be you have a very large vineyard there. There's other things other than grapes that are sold. It's kind of a small agricultural area because if you look around and see the rest of this map, it's all very hilly in this area. So Weinstein is where they grow most, if not all, of the crops for this section.
Yeah, as well as all the shellfish or those.
Well, all the other towns collect shellfish. Halgroth is the big shellfish area. That's where they do all the pearl farming. Mm-hmm. But Weinstein is like the agriculture area. Gonora to the north does some agriculture too, but Weinstein's kind of, it's like the difference between Weinstein would be the Central Valley in California, and Gonora would be like Wisconsin or something. There's agricultural over there, but it's nothing compared to the Central Valley.
All right. Well then. So where did you say the mage school was? The wizarding school? Or
Trestor.
Trestor.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say I want to head to Trestor, but maybe I don't now. That's probably where I dropped out of wizard school.
It is. What was the reason for you dropping out of wizard school?
I'm not a very good wizard. But I'm an excellent illusionist.
So did you get kicked out or did you drop out?
Wilhelm would say that he had enough of that place and moved on to bigger and better things.
I see. And his teacher probably said that he had had enough of Wilhelm and moved on to bigger and better students.
Hey.
Maybe not bigger.
Are you making fun of my weight? All right. So let's see. Well, I think I will head down to the docks in Weinstein and try and find a ship out of this muckhole.
Sure. Let's even bring up. There's some dock music now. Tabletop dock. What? Where's the dock music? I know it exists. We're going to need this dock music, so we're going to take a moment to find it because it's going to come into play quite a bit.
Is there any muck music? Shit marsh. What is the Grey Marsh?
The Grey Marsh. It's not a very pleasant place to hang out.
Maybe when I'm higher level.
Oh yeah, if you're higher level, it's going to be great.
Actually, I don't think Wilhelm likes to get his boots dirty.
Well, that's why you have illusionist spells to keep them clean.
Or at least appearing clean and smelling clean. That's all that matters.
All right, there you go. You make your way down to the Weinstein docks. They're pretty much just wooden piers that extend out into the water, and they extend far. As I said before, the water's not very deep. It's only waist high. So the docks come out another like 3 feet off the water, but it doesn't take a lot of wood to build a dock if it only has to go, 3 feet down into the water. So the docks extend for maybe a quarter mile out into the bay. Some of them. Other ones are short, and there's lots of like branches off of it. There's even a small kind of floating shanty town out here where people have built houses that float on the water and that are like tied to the docks. And from there they can do their fishing and the shellfish farming pretty easily, and they never have to go back on shore.
Wilhelm does not associate with these dock people.
They are the lower class of society. The boat people, as they're called, they're the poorer people that don't really care about living on land. You know, the land dwellers kind of look down upon them, and they consider the land dwellers too pretentious and impractical.
All right. Let me tell you what spells I've memorized. Let's go with Audible Glamour and Mount.
Nice. Okay.
All right. As I'm walking down this dock, I am throwing my voice using my expert ventriloquism. Let's go ahead and roll that check just to see how that's going for me. My ventriloquism is not that great, is it? All right. RD20 plus 8. Okay, I pass. So I'm rolling in the street, like throwing my voice, being like, is that Wilhelm the Magnificent? Oh, I hear he's such a great illusionist. Oh, he's so handsome. So I'm just like strutting down the dock, tossing these little rumors to the left and the right.
You're looking for a push boat, right, to get you to Trestor?
Yes.
Okay.
So is there like a section of the dock where you hire boats, or do you have to deal with these boat people and just sort of ask someone to take you?
You can usually find someone that will take you if you just ask anyone. You know, if you give them a good enough price, people will do it. Just they got boats; they don't have much else to do. But there is a section where people that prefer to hire or to be hired out as pushers will work. So that's a separate section of the docks if you're just looking for some of that.
So I'll walk to that section of the docks and
sure.
Try and find the push boat operator with the most teeth.
Yeah. You find a guy out there who's got a nice long pole. He's got a boat that is maybe 10 feet wide and 25 feet long. So it's a decent boat. It doesn't really have much going for it. It's kind of just like a little a basket boat would be the appropriate term for it. And you see a passenger already on it, and he's standing there shading his eyes from the morning sun, looking out, and as he sees you coming...
is that Wilhelm the Magnificent? I strut on over, wool pants billowing in the wind.
He starts waving at you as you come over. He's like, you want to go to Trestor, Hallgroff? Where are you headed, buddy?
South. Where are you headed?
I'm headed to Trestor or Hallgroff, whichever one you'd like to go.
Hallgroff it is.
Excellent. We're just looking to wait for a third passenger, so make yourself at home. He pours you out some tea and hands you a little cup of tea. Let's see. It'll take all day to get there, so cost is about 3 silver. He looks at you.
I fork over 3 silver, spit the tea overboard discreetly, and have it move towards the back of the boat. What does the other passenger look like?
The other passenger is a woman with a babe at her breast.
Okay. I approach the woman and like lean casually against like there's not a mast, is there? Like
no.
a box or a barrel or something. Why, hello. I'm sure you must have heard of me. What is your name? And I extend a hand.
My name is Jane.
Jane. A plain name. Very fitting.
And hey, what is that supposed to mean?
My name is Wilhelm the Magnificent. Would you like to see a trick?
Can you do a disappearing act?
Why, yes, in fact I can. Would you hand me that? And I reach out for the baby.
But he's still eating. Hold on. In a few minutes.
Oh yes, my trick. Do I see any rope on the ship?
Totally.
Right.
There's a coil of rope just to your right.
I will pick up a coil of rope, and discreetly try to like slice it So can I roll a dex check to like prep it for my magic tricks?
Yeah, totally. So you're trying to keep it discreet from her or from the boat captain?
Both, but mostly her.
Okay, give me a dex.
So I just need 30 crit, 36.
Yeah. So you turn to get this rope and easily cut it off.
Yeah. So I like prep like some trick sections so that I've got like multiple sections, but it looks like I start with like a full piece of rope and I do some trick where I like, and now it's a rope and I tie it in a knot and.
All right. So
and it's 2, and then I put it back together.
Ooh, yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. All the while, actually, eyeing things. The baby. Things.
The baby, or what's just above the baby?
Yeah, things. Just things.
Wilhelm.
Does a third passenger ever show up, or do I have to keep sleazing it out?
No. A third passenger shows up another 20 minutes. It's a decent wait for him. Eventually, she does finish feeding the child and hands it over to you to do a disappearing act with.
Oh no! I don't actually take it. I was which is.
Oh.
So.
I thought I heard someone calling you Wilhelm the Magnificent. I thought you could actually do real magic.
Excuse me, did you not see my rope illusions?
Well,
where?
Okay. All right.
Where is this thing's father? I say as I hand it back to her.
We're going to go see him in Halgroth. Not that it's any of your business. Little Jimmy here needs a good role model. We're gonna go get one. I mean, talk to him.
This is like Cookie all over again. All right, who's the third passenger?
The third passenger is a knight.
A knight?
Yes. He is one of the few knights that is out of Weinstein. He pledged his allegiance to the local lord, who happens to be not a close friend, but a business associate of your parents. He buys up your parents' wine all the time. So you've met this guy a couple of times in your life. You're not necessarily, chatty with him, but he would know who you are. And I mean, he's a knight. You're the son of a wealthy merchant. There's some level of respect, but he still, looks down on you a little bit.
There's probably no respect either way. What are you talking about?
Okay, there we go.
I'm this lazy, good-for-nothing nobleman's son, and he's hoity-toity, holier-than-thou, knight of Weinstein.
Is your father a noble? That can totally be the case.
Sure. I don't know how the politics work, and probably a merchant, but wealthy enough that he's got the status of such.
Yeah, you're the son of a very wealthy merchant. Probably the wealthiest merchant in Weinstein.
Yeah, so. But I'm kind of a deadbeat, and so he's not really, and I probably will not be getting many favors from him.
Yeah. All right. You guys push off and start heading towards Halgroth. As I said before, it's going to take all day, but luckily there is a little shade for you guys. The basket boat has a little overhang. That keeps the sun off your back all day. And the boat pusher just, pushes out. Very easy. You make very good progress through the water because there's not much of a current. So as long as you keep pushing, you can just float all day long at a better speed than someone would go on land. So you should make it to Halgroth by nightfall. It seems.
What is the knight doing? Is he armored? Armed?
He has his armor in a big burlap bag that he carries with him, but he does have his sword belt on and his shield just on the dock or on the deck. The three of you sit and hang out and chat. The boat pusher has some rice for you as well for like a midday meal. It's
rice?
Yeah, it's rice and steamed spinach. It's a pretty meager meal. If you have your own food, you can eat that instead. But that's just
rice and steamed spinach sounds perfect for Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Peckishly nibbles on a bit. This is delicious. You'll have to give me a recipe.
Well, it's rice and spinach, but we steamed the spinach beforehand. The wife makes it for me.
You've got a good woman. You should hang on to her.
I'm doing my best, you know. It can be hard to make ends meet sometimes. It'd be great if we could get a little extra money, he says. Awkwardly.
Yes. Be great for us all.
Okay. You make it down to Hallgrove later that night. The journey is... it's long. It's kind of rocky, you know, go back and forth on the boat the whole way. There's seagulls about the entire time. There's a ton of gulls out in the bay. Because, you know, it's very shallow water, so the fish are all over the place. The gulls swoop down, eat them by the dozens.
I practice cacawing at distance.
Give me your best cacaw.
I fail.
Yeah, it could be
the woman and the knight and whatever the pole driver's name. It's clearly not being projected. I'm clearly just cacawing at the front of the boat.
Yeah. If there's nothing else you'd like to do, you guys arrive in Hallgrove by the end of the day, just as the sun's going down.
Right. I will take the rope with me, like the small sections of rope.
Okay,
hopefully discreetly, yeah.
Add 20 feet of hemp.
20? No, what? These are like 1 foot segments to like do my. So it's like several feet.
Okay, then add however much you want to your character sheet.
I'm just gonna say like 3 feet.
Okay.
For my rope tricks.
Oh, is this for your spell, your future rope trick spell?
Oh, I have no idea what that costs. No, this is just for. Actually, you said I could get 20 feet of rope off of this thing?
Yeah.
Is it hemp rope?
Yeah.
That's probably very heavy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Rope. 20 pounds for 50 feet.
So 20 feet would be 8 pounds.
Yeah, I've got like 10 feet of rope, but it's sort of sliced up.
Okay, just make a note of that.
Puts me exactly at encumbrance, so I may need to ditch that in a hurry.
Okay.
Right. So at nightfall, stepping off the docks in Hallgrove. What sort of town is this?
Let's see. Hallgrove is a town that comes down out of the hills. Similar to Trestor, but Hallgrove is built into the hillside a little bit more. The hillside is a little bit steeper. Near the top of the hill, you have a lot of buildings that are actually carved into the living bones of the earth itself. Down at the base of the hill, kind of like the way Santa Barbara is, you have the hillside that comes down. They've got a short, flat area right before the ocean. So you've got this little flat area, except it's a lot smaller in Hallgrove. It's maybe a mile across, mile deep, that is nice and flat, and then you have these steep hills that rise up that you have buildings and towns built into. It's a pretty chill place. You've got a lot more boat people out here than you do in Weinstein, and you have a lot of push boat traffic coming in here. As you come into Hallgrove, you see lots of boats pushing themselves in with big baskets or big fishing nets filled with clams, oysters, mussels, and all sorts of shellfish. In fact, the docks reek of shellfish.
Yuck. I will head inland a little bit and try and find a nice tavern.
Okay. The knight actually stays on the boat, and as soon as the two of you depart, the boat pusher starts pushing across the bay towards Trestor with the knight. In case that makes a difference to you in any way. And then you make your way.
Well playing, Jane. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too, Wilhelm.
The Magnificent.
It's great.
Fairly well. And I strut off towards the bar.
Okay. You make your way through town until you come across a bar. It's a lovely little place with a sign out front of a big ox having its throat slit.
Oh, my kind of establishment.
And you step on in. It is dimly lit, mostly by the big roaring fire in the fireplace. There are a couple of torches along the walls.
I almost grabbed that spell that explodes fires.
Fire burst?
Fire burst.
And there's a couple of torches in sconces along the wall. The bar itself is lit by a lantern hanging down from above it, shining light down onto the bar and a couple of spotlights. The innkeeper gives you a smile and a nod as you come in.
Barkeep, your finest red wine. Well, a red wine.
Of course, sir. And he pulls out a bottle and starts pouring out some red wine. Eventually hands you the glass and says, 1 silver, sir.
That I can afford. I was worried that if I said finest, that it would be...
It'd probably be some of your father's stuff.
Should have brought some of that with me. I thought about buying a wineskin for the road, but I would be too encumbered.
Yeah. What'd you say your name was, mister?
Oh, you don't recognize me? I'm Wilhelm. Wilhelm the Magnificent. The most famous illusionist in all of Wastewater Bay.
Uh-huh. And would your lordship be looking for an inn for the night? Got the driest, cleanest rooms in all of Hallbrook, or Hallgroth.
I suppose I would.
Excellent. He kind of looks you up and down. It's 5 silver a night for a room, but they're mighty cozy.
I have a feeling he's ripping me off, but I don't care, and I hand him a gold.
Okay, he gives you change, and
I really need what's Phantasmal Force so I can start printing my own gold.
And he leads you to your room for the night.
I will probably hang out in the bar until late-ish.
Sure. Is there anything you're looking out for while you're hanging out in this bar?
Adventures, heists, treasure, buxom lasses.
There is a buxom lass. That is for sure. She's got soft, honeyed hair that curls down to her lower back. She's got... what is the appropriate term? She's got a couple of jugs of wine with her that look
I love
full. And she has soft freckles spotted across her cheeks.
I'm going to try and throw my voice behind her, failing. So I make the voice of a woman going, "Oh, you see that handsome man over there? So luscious, but I very standoffish. Turned me down."
Either she doesn't notice or she's pretending not to notice. What do you do?
I leer at her, contemplating my move.
Is there a move that you can make?
I'm not sure yet. My spells are not that effective. I could conjure a horse into this tavern at any moment, but...
Okay.
Anything else interesting going on?
There are a group of dwarves here. 3 of them. They're sitting by themselves in a kind of an awkward table that's a little bit too big for them, but it seemed like it was the only table open at the time. So they're kind of sitting up and leaning over the table to whisper to each other, so they're kind of like leaning heavily in. It's a very awkward sight. They're discussing God knows what. But they seem to be armed and armored. They all have studded leather armor on, and most of them, all three of them have daggers. One of them even has a battle axe.
All right. I will walk over to the table, rope at the ready, and say, "Excuse me, fine dwarf. Might I borrow that battle axe for a second?"
Yeah, what do you need my axe for?
I have need to cut my rope here. And I, like...
He hands you the axe slowly and watches carefully.
All right. I take the axe in my offhand and do the same rope trick where I cut the rope, but this time with this awkward, large battle axe, and like piece it back together and do some mumbo jumbo. Would you like a rope trick check?
I would.
29.
Nice.
So even if you impose a penalty for this awkward battle axe, I still pull off the slicing the rope with the battle axe. And I say, "Thank you very much. And now for my illusion." And
Ooh.
I like put the rope back together.
At the end of it, there's a clapping from the dwarves and from a nearby table as well. And the buxom lass heads over to you and goes, "That was a fancy trick you could do there."
It wasn't a trick. It was an illusion. And I do jazz hands.
Oh, I see. What is your name?
Oh, you haven't heard of me?
No, I haven't heard of you.
My name is Wilhelm, the Magnificent. Tell your friends.
And
I extend a hand. And
she takes it and gives you a smile.
I like get down on a knee and kiss her hand.
Oh,
and
my.
I probably don't have any tricks to do from down here, but I'll stand back up.
Okay. She smiles and says, "Oh, Gob, you're so wonderful."
All right.
Tell me, where did you learn these illusions?
I was educated across the bay in Trensdor, but now I travel far and wide using my magic for great deeds.
What sort of great deeds do you do? Are you the sort that helps out a damsel in distress?
Oh, that's precisely what I was going to say.
Really? Well, I happen to be a damsel in distress that I could use a wonderful hero to come by and help me.
Well, you found that hero. Are we having this conversation like right next to the dwarves?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The
dwarves are. One of them even seems like he's standing like close enough to the two of you talking that he could be part of the conversation if he was actually saying anything. But he's not. It's like that.
I know.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. The other dwarves are sitting back and watching. What would you like to do?
Well, I think I'm waiting for her to tell me what sort of distress she's in. I was like, I think you found the right hero.
You see,
tell me. Oh.
My father has engaged me to marry a man who I wish not to marry.
Oh, there is nothing more abhorrent in this world than marriage not based on true love.
Precisely my thoughts. Do you think you could convince my father otherwise, or somehow prevent this marriage from happening? I would be ever so grateful.
There's nothing I'm better at than ruining marriage.
Excellent, excellent. Well, my father's name is George.
George.
Yes, George Planer.
George Planer.
Mm-hmm. He's a woodworker of sorts, and he has engaged me to marry the son of a boat person.
Oh, I scowl.
It's very embarrassing to say, but their family has done very well, and they bring in quite a few pearls. So it's one of the better boat people families, and And I just can't smell like fish all day. And she like breaks down crying and moves back to her table.
I lean into one of the dwarves and I was like, she already does, am I right? And I give him an elbow in the ribs.
The dwarves laugh very loudly at this joke.
One of the dwarves' ears.
He laughs loudly, slams his pint down on the table, and then repeats the joke in Dwarven, and all the other dwarves start laughing.
Right. And... Alright.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me, my lady, what is your name?
My name is Gertrude.
Gertrude Plainer.
Yes, for now. Soon it's going to be Gertrude Fisher.
Alright. Gertrude Plainer.
Oh, I should make notes.
I am for you.
Yeah, but I need my own notes because sometimes you lie to me.
I would never.
That's the Shenanigans book. I never remember which books have notes for which shows, you know? Got too much shit going on.
I know which books have my notes for Dicing with Death. None of them. Just kidding.
All of them? All your books are filled with Dicing with Death notes?
Sometimes. Alright, Gertrude Plainer. What's that? Arranged, engaged. To a fish. Alright.
To a boat person. Even worse.
Yuck. Do we need to roll for hotness, or did you already deem it to be exceptional?
I wouldn't necessarily say exceptional, but she's going to roll 4d61 instead of 3d6.
Or you could, I mean, you could just roll 3d6 and say that she...
Oh, no, she's a 16.
Oh, okay. This is my damsel in distress.
This is your damsel in distress.
To ride in on my noble steed and rescue her.
Yeah. So she says, the family... Well, as I said, they're a fisher family. They have all the... all the boat people have the same last name, more or less, and this is one of them. They have a very large houseboat just off the end of the largest dock, as well as a couple... Oh god, I can't keep this voice up. As well as a couple other small boats that they go about. It's a large family. They have many nieces and nephews that operate, and they all pool their resources together. I just don't want to be with them.
Yes, nothing more despicable than a congregation of boat people.
The wedding is supposed to be in 2 weeks. What? I have nothing to pay you with. How can I?
As I said, milady, there is nothing that disturbs me more than marriage. Not based on love.
Of course. Thank you. What can I do for you to... What do you need from me to help you succeed on this perilous quest?
Nothing at all. I do this out of the kindness of my heart. Say, have you ever... damn it. Do you like horses?
Of course. They're such noble creatures, don't you think? Such long faces.
Indeed! Eustace, to my side! And I reach in my pocket and pull out a bundle of horsehair. Throw it on the ground and conjure a gangly, skinny white horse in the center of the bar.
The music stops. Everyone's conversation stops. The whole bar is staring at this horse that's standing next to you as it kicks the ground a little bit and looks at you.
Milady, and I take a knee to help her up onto the horse.
You see that she has gone bright red, and she looks around, not sure what to do, smiles, takes her hand, and mounts up on the back of the horse.
And now I proceed to awkwardly try and get the horse out the door.
The whole bar silently watches as you get the horse outside.
Only an illusion as I leave. Have no fear. And I leap on the horse after.
Give me a 1d20.
To see if I can get the horse out the door. 19.
Yeah, not a problem. You get the horse out, easy peasy.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys are
very yeah. Eustace is a very flexible horse. He gets down on his knees and army crawls with the woman on top. I leap on in front of her and I say, "Put your hands here, my lady." And she grabs my stick thin abs. But there's a 6-pack.
Sure, there is.
There's 100% a 6-pack.
8 strength.
I'm famished. Those might be my internal organs, but there's none.
She grabs hold of your distended stomach. Where are we going, Gregor? Or Wilhelm? Wilhelm.
A tour of the town. Show me the.
Would you
show me the street you played on, and as a child, and perhaps we can overlook these fish people. I wouldn't want to get too close, but you can point.
She leads you to her family's home. It is nighttime now. The sun has gone down. The town has died down as well. There's not much going on. But you have... she takes you through the streets, kind of back towards the... what side? Where are the hills on? No, she actually takes you down kind of close to the docks. Not all the way down to the docks, but 2 blocks away. And over to a small lumber yard, and points to it from down the street a little bit. Goes, "That lumber yard there is my father's. That's where I played as a small child, and out in the streets around here. If we go down a little closer to the water, I can show you the boat people that I'm betrothed to."
Sure, but not too close. I prefer the smell of wood.
As do I. Wood is a much preferable substance than fish. And she trots you down to the river, to the bay, and points out to a very large boat that's floating out there. There's a bunch of lanterns lit that hang all around it. The boat must be 100 feet by 100 feet, so it's like a big floating house out in the water. And you notice that there are little pontoons all around it, nets going between the pontoons and the buildings that dip into the water. And there's a whole bunch of little push boats attached to the boat, to the larger house all over the place. The houseboat actually has a second story, a very much smaller second story that is only maybe 20 by 20 on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's them. Those are the fishers.
And where does... I don't even want to know his name. Let's call him the Trout. Where does the Trout live on that pontoon?
He's the elder son of the pontoon of the family, and he lives on the boat with the others, I guess, probably in the downstairs common room with all the other family members.
Milady, you have my word. You will never have to spend a night on a boat unless you want to.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Wilhelm. She throws her arms around you, and you can feel a hot tear rolling down her cheek as it presses into your back.
All right.
When will you do it? What will you do? How will you take care of this?
I have an idea.
Yes?
In due time, milady, in due time. And
what now, then?
Well, we have 3 hours.
3 hours?
Eustace has an appointment.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe you should take me home before my father suspects something.
Very well. Eustace, onward! And he trots slowly.
He trots slowly back to the lumberyard. She dismounts half a block down, extends her hand for you to kiss it one more time.
I'm too high, so I lean over awkwardly and
you don't fall off, but it's a little awkward. And then she, what's the word? Flounces down the street towards her.
I don't know if that's a word, but it might be. It is now.
I think it encompasses what she should do. We could be Shakespeare here. We could just make up words that sound about right. She flounces home.
I watch her from my steed the whole way back, staring intensely. She looks over her shoulder. It might be a little creepy. Or maybe a little sexy. Who knows?
She rolls a 1 on her perception check. She does not see you.
Okay.
All right, now you are...
And then I take Eustace back to the tavern.
You arrive back at the tavern. Do you take Eustace inside?
Can I dispel him, or does he just stay for 3 hours?
You can dispel him if you desire.
Okay. I will dismount and walk Eustace in the front door, and I say, "Only kidding!" And Eustace disappears in a puff of smoke and horse fur.
There's a silence for a moment, and then everyone applauds and cheers. Hear, 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 hear! That was a great magic trick! Woo!
Right.
And a couple people throw...
Barkeep! More wine!
You see a bunch of copper coins start falling at your feet as people just toss them towards you. You've gained 30 copper.
All right, I take a bow and pick up the copper.
Okay.
And use to pay for my drinks.
Excellent. As I said before, the wine is a silver glass.
I am now paying with copper, but I'll grab another glass. I'll go ahead and subtract 2.
Okay. As the night is drawing to a close, a thin, middle-aged gentleman approaches you. His clothes are old and worn, but very nice. And he has a hat that has a small tear in it. Mm-hmm. He looks like a wealthy man that may have fallen on hard times, or maybe someone that just happened to find some wealthy clothes somewhere. Either way, he sits down next to you and goes, "That was quite a performance you put on earlier."
Indeed it was. I thank you.
You know, I have a bit of a traveling circus. If you're interested in joining up, we could use a good illusionist.
I am intrigued. How long are you in town?
Well, our one of our acts had an unfortunate accident in town. You wouldn't happen to know of anyone that isn't afraid to be shot out of a cannon, do you?
If this were a TV show, there would be a flash forward to me getting shot out of a cannon, but I don't know. Perhaps a dwarf? I look sideways at the group of dwarves over on the side of the room.
He shakes his head. No, we've tried the dwarves before. Something about foolish humans. I don't know. They don't seem to like the concept of being shot out of cannons.
I have an idea.
Yes, I'm all ears.
Have you ever met a gnome? They're like dwarves, but much more agreeable.
I have not.
And a little bit smaller, so they may fit into the cannon better. I look around the bar for any gnomes.
You don't see any gnomes. But he says, if we're not leaving town until we can find someone for our cannon act. If you can find us a gnome, I'll give you a signing bonus. In addition to the signing bonus for you coming on, I will give you the gnome's signing bonus as well. It's 5 gold for the signing bonus for the illusionist act, which is new. We're not sure if it's going to stick. But if you get me a reliable gnome, I'll give you a 30 gold signing bonus for him.
I will keep my eyes peeled.
Excellent. By the way, my name is Frederick the Fantastic.
Frederick the Fantastic. I am Wilhelm the Magnificent.
Oh, it's a wonderful stage name that you have.
Oh, thank you. Yours is quite elegant yourself.
Thank you. If you'd be
interested,
the
ringleader?
I am the ringleader. Yes. We have a 3-ring circus that goes from town to town, staying a week or so at each one and then moving on. It's a respectable business, makes good money. If you're interested, we leave as soon as we find a man for our canon act.
A man or a gnome?
Man, woman, child, gnome, infant, it doesn't matter to us. Frederick's fantastic traveling circus has no limits.
As they say in Nomish, Virke de Garde Smirkengarden.
It's a fantastic and wonderful language that I do not understand. What does it mean?
It means to the next adventure.
Smirkengarden, he says, and clinks glasses with you.
Cheers. Alright, at some point I will go to bed.
Okay. You go to bed, and we come up on the next day.
I will memorize hypnotism. Whatever could that be for?
We're going to find out. You wake up the next day in Hallgruff. 3 glasses of wine isn't enough to hang you over. So you wake up nice and ready.
I thought that was a question for a second there. I was like, I'll let you know in the morning, but I think
you wake up ready to do your business. What would you like to do first thing in the morning?
I'm going to head down to the dock. Actually, I probably meant to do that last night, but I forgot. It's okay.
You head down to the dock?
And I'm going to start spreading rumors about... I don't even know this guy's name. Fisher. The eldest Fisher son.
Okay. What sorts of rumors would you like to spread?
Using my ventriloquism skill. So I'll try to walk down the street and, like, throw my voice and do the same thing I did with myself, but instead of talking about me, I'll be like, "Did you hear about that Fisher boy? He's into dudes. Yes, crazy gay orgies on the boat. It's so disturbing." And, so I'll roll a ventriloquism check. It may just be me walking down the street talking to myself.
Please give it to me.
Okay, we're safe.
All right, so you start throwing your voice, and at one point you hear someone perk up and start looking around as if they were, like, right after you finish saying, he has gay orgies on his boat all the time, a guy starts looking around like, where is this boat, huh? Do you try and talk to him at all, or you let him remain confused?
Where the route is going? I'm not sure what I would even say to him.
Oh.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'll. Yeah. So I'm just going to spread rumors.
So you walk around spreading rumors as best you can. How long would you like to spread rumors for?
Probably an hour or so in the morning, and then I'm going to go to the docks.
Okay. You make your way.
Take a look at the boat, hold it by my nose.
You make your way down to the smelly docks. And you're here. Down at the docks, what would you like to do, Wilhelm?
I'm thinking. I meant to do this last night, but so now maybe I'll wait for nightfall again. Got my audible glamour, so I'm thinking of disturbing sounds to make it emanate from the fisher's boat. So I think I will. I think I'm going to hold off. I will try and can I spot them coming and get like? I'll keep an eye on their
yeah
boathouses for a little while, maybe a couple hours, and see as they come and go. Or
it appears that a lot of the people left in the morning. All the small boats that were docked on the house itself are gone, and you see a couple of people walking around. Seems like a couple of young men are tending to the nets around on the perimeter of the boat, and there is a middle-aged woman pushing herself out to one of these like little floating makeshift buoys and like pulling up a net and checking things and then dropping it down, like pushing herself over to this other buoy and pulling up a net. So they just seem to be kind of going about their daily business.
All right, I'm gonna head back to Gertrude's place, or her father's place, maybe her father's workshop, and see if I can. Is his workshop his house, or?
Yeah, it's more or less the same. He has a small lumberyard and a small workshop attached to it. As you approach, you see what you assume to be her father and maybe her brothers or something. They're youngish men working alongside an older man who are currently planing some pieces of wood.
How far are they offset from the street?
I mean, they are, I would say, 10 feet offset. They're like in the little 20 feet offset. They're in the lumberyard itself, planing together.
All right. So, sorry, how far did you say from the street? Like, could they hear conversation in the street?
Probably if they were paying close attention, you know.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how does my ventriloquism proficiency work? Like, how far can I throw my voice? So I'm thinking I'm going to hide nearby and try and spread these rumors close enough for them to overhear.
Mm-hmm.
Ventriloquism. I really need to get myself a puppet. Oh wow, there's like tables and shit based on the intelligence they get. So I guess we've been doing it wrong.
You don't just make a ventriloquism check and then ventriloquism? There's more to it than that?
I guess the supposed source of the sound must be relatively close to the character. There's penalties if it's like obviously like an inanimate object. It's a believable source, a PC or an NPC. A +2 bonus is added. The observer's intelligence modifies as follows. Successful proficiency check means the character has deceived his audience. One must be made for every sentence or response. So in short, it's super complicated. I think what we're doing is probably the simplest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I am like, how busy is the street in front of them?
Hold on. I just want to read out this one passage. Using ventriloquism to get someone to look behind him does not work since the voice is not actually behind him. This requires the ventriloquism spell. All but those with the gullibility of children realize what's truly happening. They may be amused or they may not be.
I feel like doing what I'm doing is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that's something you could probably do even without a ventriloquism skill.
Well, yeah, because
like
no one...
walk with a crowd and be like, yeah.
In that situation, no one is actively trying to see what's going on. You're not performing to anybody. Okay. So what would you like to do in this situation?
Are there people walking back and forth?
In the street? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to like glom on to a crowd of people and do the same thing. But I'll probably like get on like the far side so that like the father wouldn't see me and like throw my voice to like the person on the other side. So I'll probably wait till it's like a larger group. Like, do I see like a cluster of like 6 people?
Eventually.
Get in on like the opposite side and like throw my voice on the other side. Like, you heard about that Fisher boy? Your legs in the butt, and keep walking with the crowd. I'm like, maybe that wasn't subtle enough.
You see the father kind of perk up and look around a little bit, and then kind of shake his head and go back to planing.
Mm-hmm. What does the group do?
The group stops talking and starts looking at each other and goes, "Who said that? What? Huh?"
Do you want me to? Should I roll a proficiency check? Actually,
please do. I'm going to roll.
How do we want to modify? Are you doing modifiers or anything? Do you do like perception checks as opposed? So that was actually pretty crappy. So it's probably pretty obvious to the group that I walked up and said that.
Yeah, one of them turns to you and goes,
try and keep walking with them.
One of them turns to you and says, "What Fisher kid, huh? Who are you anyway?"
Just a concerned citizen.
Which Fisher kid likes it in the butt?
The elder Fisher boy, haven't you heard? Damn, I really need this kid's name. The Fishers, you know, the trout moguls. Whatever it is they do.
I see.
Orgies on the boat.
Is that why they have such a large place?
I give him a wink. If you're interested, you know who to ask.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa, that is not my thing.
I just go running as fast as I can the other direction.
Okay. You leave them behind.
I probably go running past the father's workshop.
You leave them behind, scratching their heads and chuckling to themselves. All right. You make it away. No one seems to be chasing you or looking after you at this point.
I'm going to try and do the same with another group. Like, wait for another large group to go by and, like, like just slip in with the group and do the same thing. So I'm going to roll another ventriloquism check.
Do it.
17, so it's probably, again, obvious that it's me. And I'm going to be like... Yeah, I hear if you're into orgies, the Fisher's boat is the place to be. And once again,
this time the father looks out in the street carefully and observes all the people out there, and then mutters something to his kids and starts walking out towards the street. The group that you're with has stopped and turned to face you and go, "Excuse me."
I'm trying to like get out of like I'm looking for an exit. Like I like run, pull my hood over my. I probably don't have a cloak, but like my shirt over my head. Do I see? Is there like an alley or anything nearby?
If you go across the entrance, like back across the entrance to the woodworker's shop, there's an alleyway on the left side of the street.
All right. So I'm going to make for that. Let's see what I have in my backpack. Horsehair, woolen pantaloons. That's not going to do much. Rations, rope, backpack, spell book, clothes. I probably have like a cloak for cold weather, right? Or not? Is this pretty temperate?
You could have a traveling cloak. It does get nippy. Yeah.
Would I? I mean, I didn't specifically. I just have clothes on my sheet.
Clothes include some sort of traveling cloak.
All right, so I pull a traveling cloak from my bag and like pull it over my head and like run down the alley.
Okay. All right. So you make it down the alleyway. No one is pursuing.
Is there a back entrance to the alley?
The alleyway actually goes down between some buildings and opens up in a small courtyard where there are the entrances to like 5 or 6 houses.
Okay. Okay, I'll go to the entrance to the houses. Is there like a back entrance?
No. It's like an alleyway that leads to like a small cluster of houses. It's a one-way dead-end alley.
I will like hide like around the corner at the end of the alley, like in the cluster, and look back down.
No one comes down the alleyway. You're free and clear.
I'll probably wait here for like an ungodly amount of time.
Ungodly amount of time has passed?
10-15 minutes.
Okay.
and then head back out.
All right.
Once I get out the alley, I put my cloak back in my bag.
You're back out. The woodcrafter's house is maybe 70 or 80 feet to your left.
Right. I laugh maniacally as I run down the street.
Towards the house? Or no?
No, back to the bar. It's been a hard day's work. I need a drink.
All right, you get back to the bar. It is not quite midday.
Damn. Barkeep, I'll have a wine.
Right away. Wilhelm, right?
The Magnificent.
Of course. That was a pretty good horse trick you did earlier. How'd you do it?
You want to know my secret? And I lean in close.
Yeah, he leans in close.
I had the horse in my pocket the whole time.
That's a good one. But seriously, how'd you do that?
I give him a shrug, take my wine, and go to the other side of the bar, and end the conversation. Is there anyone in the bar at this time of day, or?
Yeah, there's a few folks sitting about.
I should probably scope out some gnomes in the meantime, but I do need to end this marriage. All right, so I'm gonna. Would I know where there would be gnomes in this town, or should I?
Hallgorf is not known for its gnomes. If you want to find a gnome, you really should go to Trestor. You can find a gnome in Trestor easy. There might be some gnomes in Hallgorf, but you don't know how long. It might take a while to find them.
How long does it take to get to Trestor?
Maybe an hour on boat. Hour and a half.
That's where I'm going. So I'm going to head to the docks and get a boat to Trestor for the afternoon.
Cool. You head down to the docks, and you find another basket boat with a pole pusher. And it's there's a bunch of them. There's
on my way to the basket pusher, I'm gonna stop by a group of people and pop in and be like, "Hey, if you're looking for some fun, and by fun I mean orgies, check out the Fisher's Pontoon midnight tonight." And then I point to their pontoon and just slip away before they can ask any questions.
Okay.
And then I go and find a pusher boat.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys down there yelling "Hey, we're headed to Trestor, boat headed to Trestor, leave it in 10 minutes. Anyone want on board?" And other people are like, "We're going to Droon." Other people are calling out Cratch or Ganora. You see the same guy who took you down here from Weinstein sitting out there going, Weinstein, anyone coming to Weinstein? Right. And he's on the boat all by himself. No one.
I'm going to try and find the guy going to Trestor in 10 minutes, or whoever's going to Trestor this is.
You can easily find one. The price is 5 copper.
5 copper. I like this place. All right, I fork up the 5 copper.
Excellent.
Hop aboard.
And he, after waiting for a few minutes until 2 more passengers come on board, he pushes you guys to Trestor. You get there in an hour and a half, no problems, and dismount. Now, Trestor is a big city. It's got a wall all the way around it, except down by the docks, where there is no wall, but the docks have kind of this stepped entrance to them.
Like stone or wood?
No, I take it back. There's no wall around Trestor at all. I'm sorry.
It's a pretty large city, isn't it?
It is a large city, but it doesn't have a deep water port next to it. It's all wastewater. The water's all waist high all the way around Trestor, and there is an actual fortress out on the end of the peninsula called Droon Outpost. That has a wall around it and a deep water port. And if you want to get any supplies elsewhere, you need to sail out of Droon. But Trestor itself is just a nice big city built into the hills and area near Wastewater Bay.
All right. So I will head up the steps into Trestor.
Okay.
I guess I'll actually ask the boat captain on my way out. I'll just be straight up. So do you know where the gnomes hang out in this town?
There's a jewelry district. You can usually find the gnomes hanging out around there, and he gives you rough directions. Beyond yonder fountain, it's the 3rd left on your right.
All right, so I'll head over to the jewelry district.
Okay. You make your way to the jewelry district, and you see gnomes and dwarves alike frittering about and running all over the place. As well as humans and other strange races. You even see what looks to be like a very large, what do you call them? Praying mantis moving down the street.
I scurry back as he scurries forward. And goodness gracious. Martha bless us all.
Yeah, but you see plenty of gnomes about, and looking in the shops, you see lots of shops that are run by gnomes here. They seem to be polishing and cutting gems.
Do I see? Are there any gnome? Like, what? Are there any street people here? Like, are they homeless or beggars? That sort of type?
No, no,
not at all.
You notice lots of well-armed mercenaries or bodyguards hanging out in front of buildings or inside jewelry shops. And you were getting the distinct impression that they keep the beggars away.
Is there a tavern somewhere in this district?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go into this tavern.
Okay. It is called It's called Ruby Red.
Ooh.
You have a reading and writing proficiency, right?
I do.
Yeah. Ruby Red.
Are all the signs in common, or any of them in Gnomish?
Most of the signs are... All the signs are in common. Some of them have a Gnomish or Dwarven subtitle.
Okay. So I'll head into Ruby Red. And sit down at the counter.
Okay.
I will take a Ruby Red wine.
The barkeep nods.
I try and ventriloquize laughter to the person next to me.
Give me a ventriloquism check.
21. So maybe if they're smart, that's a fail.
They don't seem to pick up on it at all. Who are you trying to make it sound like the sound is coming from?
Like whoever's sitting next to me at the bar or nearest to me at the bar.
Yeah. The innkeeper looks to that guy. Brings you a glass of red wine. Goes 15 copper, please.
15 copper. I can't remember what I paid last night, but that seems expensive.
Last night you paid 10 copper.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so I'll give him 1 silver and 5 copper.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to ask the barkeep. So I'm going to be straight with you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a gnome, and not one of these hoity-toity jewelers type. I need one that's not afraid to get their hands dirty.
A dirty gnome, huh?
Indeed. In fact, one that's not afraid to be shot out of a cannon. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Literally a cannon, like a circus gnome.
Oh, a circus.
Are there any street gnomes around here? Is that a strange request?
Is there some sort of finder's fee for finding one of these gnomes?
I produce a gold coin from my pouch. I'm like, can you point me in the right direction?
I think I got a gnome for you, actually. But he's worth a little bit more to me than a single gold coin. Let's say 5 gold, and you got yourself a cannon gnome.
2 gold and this brand new dagger. And I pull out remove a sheathed dagger from my belt and lay it on the table. Unsheath it non-threateningly, showing him like a brand new dagger blade. I mean, never been used to cut anything ever.
Give me a charisma check.
Alright, charisma is 11. 23.
Deal.
That's a total. That's like 4 GP worth of value. So I hand him 2 gold coins and my brand new dagger.
He leans over and yells, "Spit! Get over here!"
Oh, Spit. I like this guy already.
And coming out from behind the counter is this 2.5 foot tall gnome. He has got the remains of a white beard, although the ends of it are blackened. And he has kind of a dull look to his eyes, and he comes on and goes, "Yes, Spit here." And the guy says, "Spit, I want you to meet my new friend,
Wilhelm the Magnificent." Is Spit his Did I just buy a slave for 4 gold? Is that what just happened?
You're not sure what's going on right now. He goes, Spit! Okay.
Have you ever been to the circus?
I love the circus! Spit loves circus!
Spit, you're going to be a star.
And the bartender says, Spit, your employment here has ended. We no longer have need of your services. No more spit shining for you. This man here will take you to your new home and give you new employment.
What did you say your name was? I say to the bartender.
My name's Riggs.
Riggs.
Ripley Riggs.
It has been a pleasure. I am sure Spit is worth far more than that shiny dagger. I will remember you fondly and stop back for some very expensive drinks next time I'm in town. And I give him a wink.
He gives you a wink too, and Spit comes up to you and goes, "Ooh, ooh, ooh! What's star mean?"
I say in Gnomish. I mean, I say it in Gnomish. I'm like a very famous gnome.
Oh.
Merkada smirk again.
Woo! He seems extraordinarily happy by this, and you get the impression that he is extremely dim-witted.
Oh yeah, that's what yeah. All right, yeah. So I think I'll chug my wine and lead Spit out the bar. Okay. I'll speak to him in Gnomish. Does he speak Gnomish?
He does.
Better than common, or?
Yeah, a little. I mean, he speaks it better than common, but it just seems like his Gnomish vocabulary is bigger. His grammar and syntax is still pretty bad.
All right. Yeah, so I hype up. I don't know. I tell him stories about the circus and about elephants and dancing bears and how great it's going, how I get to see the world. And does he have anything to say? So Spit, where are you from?
I'm from Cratch.
Cratch.
I'm from Cratch. At least that's where I first remember being. Spit does not have family. Spit all alone.
Spit, I will be your family now. You can call me Daddy. My name is Wilhelm. Wilhelm the Magnificent.
Wilhelm is my new daddy?
I give him a nod.
You see him overcome with joy, and there's a single tear that rolls out of his eye and down his cheek, and he gives you the biggest leg hug you've ever gotten in your life.
Off. How does he smell? Like spit?
He washes out stale ale barrels for a living.
Spit, would you like to see an illusion? And I show him the rope trick. Let's go ahead. 35. Oh, damn. I wasted the best damn rope trick I've done. Oh, wait, no, the first one was a 20.
Yeah.
But I've wasted the first one got me to see some breastfeeding. But this was almost as good. And I wasted it on Spit.
He applauds loudly and proclaims to people as you walk by, Wilhelm the Magnificent, Illusionist! And then the next time, Wilhelm the Illusionist, the Magnificent! And the time after that, Magnificent Wilhelm Illusionist!
For those of you wondering, yes, I am milking this bag for all of the wine that it's worth. I'm channeling my inner Wilhelm.
Bagged wine is better than boxed wine. Although boxed wine is just bagged wine in a box.
Yeah, that's what this was, but I've removed the bag from the box to milk it.
Nice.
And with that, I probably should have just done this over the break. Now your chat's going to think I'm a degenerate.
I think they thought you were degenerate when you started oogling the woman who was breastfeeding.
I'm just getting in character. Let's go to break.
Let's take a break. We'll see you guys in a few minutes with our next act. Bye-bye.